Hi guys, let's start with lesson 1, the choice of business organization. Now, very common question that clients ask us is that for their business, which structure should they use? Now, structure, when I say, there are two kinds of structures. One is a formal structure and the other is your informal business structure. Now, in your informal business structure, you have sole proprietors and you have partnership firms. In your formal business structures, you have a company and then you have your limited liability partnership. Now you tell me, if the client comes and asks you that which structure should he choose from these four, what would you suggest? Now it all depends on various factors. Let's see the different factors when I'm talking about. First, you will have to ask him the nature of business activity. Like what kind of a business is he planning? On what scale does he plan to operate? How much capital does he require? How much managerial ability will be needed? So these are all these questions, or I could say counter questions, that you need to ask your clients before you can advise him anything. So these are the important factors. In your exam also, this chapter comes where they tell you that with respect to capital requirements, kindly tell us. So let's say if I talk about capital requirements, a manufacturing unit wants to be set up. So let's say a person wants to set up a manufacturing unit. Can you tell me what kind of a business structure will you suggest to him from these four? Since his capital requirement will be very high, the person will be taking huge amount of loans, will require lot of managerial powers or managerial personnel will be needed. So we will suggest them the most formal business type of business structure is a company. Companies can further be divided into one-person company, private company and public company. Public company can even raise money from the public, so that it will help finance the manufacturing unit, the expenses, etc. Now second, if someone comes and tells me नहीं हमारा manufacturing unit नहीं है, हम लोग को खाली एक शॉप रखनी है, एक छोटी सी रिटेल शॉप बनानी है और कहीं पे कोई ब्रांच नहीं होगा और मैं ही इसका मालिक हूँ, आई विल ओनली बी दी ओनर, आई ओनली वांट ऑल द प्रॉफिट्स, आई ओनली वांट एवरीथिंग, इट्स माय फंड्स and I don't want to share the profits with everyone. So that time you will tell him that he can go as a sole proprietor, which we see in many days. You go to so many retail shops, you go to so many stores, the owner is only one, that is the sole proprietor. Then if someone tells you that they want to set up a restaurant business, then we'll say अच्छा ठीक है, आपका restaurant business है, आप किसके साथ में चालू कर रहे हो? तो जैसे मैं फ्रेंड के साथ में चालू कर रहा हूँ, हम लोग दोनों का 50-50 पैसा लगा है, 50% profit sharing ratio hai. So that time we can tell them you can go for a partnership, right? Simple. Now the thing is, in informal business structures there is a very big drawback, and that drawback is the liability is unlimited. So there is unlimited liability. When I say unlimited liability means what? You set up your business, and if you could not repay the loans or you could not repay the losses, it can extend not only till the amount invested in the business, but it can also be recovered from your personal assets. So तुम्हारा घर, गाड़ी, everything can be at stake. Personal assets can be at stake. So you would obviously not want to start your informal business structures, because losses can even be recovered from your personal assets. This is called as unlimited liability. So the client will tell, अच्छा नहीं unlimited liability वाला business मत suggest करो, थोड़ा हमको और थोड़ा limited liability, मुझे थोड़ा risk कम करना है. So that time we will suggest to them something called as formal business structures. The biggest advantage of this is it has limited liability. Okay, so this is the biggest happiness to the client, that their liability is limited only till the amount invested in the business. तो सोचो अगर मैंने 2 करोड़ से चालू किया बिजनेस and the business did not succeed, the maximum loss that I can face is 2 crores. Nobody can come and take my personal assets. Now in this we have a company and we have a limited liability partnerships. Company we will see, actually it will come in way detail. Now just let me tell you an extension. Okay, something interesting. Now when you have sole proprietor, the biggest drawback of sole proprietor क्या था कि अगर मैं business में लॉस कर दिया तो मेरा पर्सनल एसेट भी अटैच हो जाएंगे. तो एक स्ट्रक्चर बना है इन कंपनीज विच इज कॉल्ड एज 1% कंपनी. इन 1% कंपनी व्हाट हैपेंस, इट इज नथिंग बट अ सोल प्रोप्राइटर विथ लिमिटेड लायबिलिटी. तो एक ही बंदा होगा जिसने ये बिजनेस चालू किया है, बट उसकी लायबिलिटी क्या होगी, लिमिटेड. ये सब हम लोग डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे, इनकी फीचर्स स्टडी करेंगे. नेक्स्ट, पार्टनरशिप फर्म्स. पार्टनरशिप में अनलिमिटेड लायबिलिटी होती है. जैसे कोई दूसरा स्ट्रक्चर है क्या जिसमें हम लोग पार्टनरशिप ही रखेंगे बट हमारी लायबिलिटी लिमिटेड होगी. सो इट्स अ पार्टनरशिप विथ लिमिटेड लायबिलिटी. इट कम्स योर, इट इज योर पार्टनरशिप विथ लिमिटेड लायबिलिटी. सो दीज आर डिफरेंट स्ट्रक्चर्स suggested to the clients in different kinds of scenarios and facts. So let's get into that. So these are the different questions that you need to ask your clients before suggesting them कौन सा business structure choose करना है. Okay, and then they go on to tell you that it's very important to have the correct business structure in the very start, because you can't change it on a daily basis. आज मैंने कंपनी बना दिया, कल फर्म बनाना है, परसों मुझे सोल प्रोप्राइटर करना है, ऐसा तो नहीं होगा. You have to be very sure before you start your business what structure do you want to create, because when you create that structure, those laws of that structure will apply. So if you suggest a company, then all the rules and acts and laws of company law will apply. If you suggest a LLP, then all the laws of limited liability partnerships will apply, etc. So each one they are just explaining what is a sole proprietor. So a sole proprietor, most commonly when you see, it is where only one person owns all the assets and businesses. No legal formalities are required to start. It just generally started as a hobby or a passion. It starts like, for example, teaching. I am a sole professor. I go to people's places and I teach them. So there is no formal structure needs to be created. Whatever profit I get is mine. Second is a partnership firm. In partnership firm, you generally make something called as a partnership deed. Partnership deed is an agreement between the partners. In that agreement, they will say what will be the name of the partnership firm, what will be the capital each one is getting, how they can dissolve the partnership firm, etc. So this is a partnership firm. Now both these are informal business structures, and the biggest drawback is unlimited liability. So a person will generally detest or refrain from starting risky businesses under this structure because their personal assets can be attached. Moving forward, there is limited liability partnerships, which we will see. Now coming to HUFs. Now HUF, Hindu Undivided Family. Now you tell me, in today's time, you think HUFs will be created? Yes or no? In today's time, do you think HUFs will be created? Answer is yes, it happens, and it happens very commonly. Why like that? The purpose is something called for, in HUF, tax benefits. So for tax benefits, HUFs have been created. Now what happens? A HUF is treated as a separate person from its members. So for example, we have Mr. Ajay, and we can also have Ajay HUF. He can be called as the Karta and his entire family. In eyes of law, in eyes of taxation authorities, these are two different structures. So assets of Ajay can be different and Ajay HUF can be different. So generally if there is a ancestral property, तो ये सब इतना डिटेल में है नहीं, बट आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू. सोचो कि एक एंसेस्टेरियल प्रॉपर्टी है, तो जब विल बना रहे ना तब बोल सकते हैं हम लोग ये HUF में डाल देंगे. अब ये एंसेस्टेरियल प्रॉपर्टी से जो भी रेंट आ रहा है, ठीक है, हम लोग ने रेंट पे रखा होगा. सो इफ इट कम्स इन अजय's टू, इफ इट इज गिवन इन अजय's नेम, देन ऑल द इनकम विल कम इन अजय's नेम and he will have to pay tax on that. Plus he must also be earning some income, so his tax slabs will increase very high. Instead what he can say, ये नहीं मेरा नहीं है, अजय HUF का है. So the rent will form a part of not Ajay but Ajay HUF, and the tax exemptions will be given to each one, so they can take the benefit of it. This is there as a tax benefit which will come, you could say in your professionally you will come to know and how HUFs are used for the devising tax benefits. Here they haven't given you in much detail, just like how much you know, as there is a karta, HUF is a separate person, it has its own PAN card, files its own returns, etc. Then comes limited liability partnerships. Now what are limited liability partnerships? These are partnerships with limited liability. Now when I say partnerships with limited liability means what? The biggest drawback of partnership firm was unlimited liability. So new structure has been created where the business will run as a partnership only, but it will have a limited liability. So with the advent of this, partnership firms have now stopped to have become little outdated, and people prefer to set up LLPs instead. Then comes cooperative societies also. These are generally people, an association of persons who have voluntarily come together to achieve common economic ends. Now cooperative societies will come in detail later on, but we know so many societies where people come in together, like your society. They will come collect maintenance, so all the money will be pooled in, and that will be used for the welfare of common benefits, common economic goals, such as paying off the watchman, which is beneficial to everyone, paying off various expenses which happen to the society, like your taxes, your property tax, your water bills, etc. So this is a cooperative society. There are cooperative societies set up for other purposes also, like NGOs, which will come in a separate chapter altogether. Then comes Section 8 companies. This is an important company which you should know it by heart. It's called as Section 8 companies, or I could say as not for profit companies. In, like, let's say being human, Salman Khan's business, or we could say Salman Khan's entity, he has set it up for not for profit. So this could be a Section 8 company. Its purpose could be to promote certain welfare activities, education, arts, commerce, science, religion, charity, etc. Then comes one person company. It is a one person, that is a sole proprietor, with features of company such as limited liability. Then comes private companies. Private companies, you read minimum 2 and maximum 200 members can be there in a private company. Okay. All of this right now, we just need to have an understanding that this is what we'll be learning further on in other chapters. In entirely part A is about your choosing your business structures correctly. Then comes public company, Reliance, Tatas, Mahindras, all of them, they're raising money. So now here you require minimum 7 members, and maximum how many members can I have in a public company? Answer is unlimited. It is not restricted at all. Okay, and public companies can even raise money from the public at large by way of IPOs, FPOs, and can list their shares on the stock exchange. Now coming to the choice of business organization. After understanding these business structures, we have to choose, like a business owner will have to choose among one of them कि उसको उसका business किस type के structure में करना है. अब the right choice of business structure is very crucial, because everything is dependent on it. The risk, the power, the control, the responsibilities, the liabilities, etc. Once you choose your business structure, you can't just change it on daily basis. It's very difficult to switch into other forms of business structure. So therefore, to choose this very wisely before you start your business. Therefore, the various forms of business have been given after giving due thought and consideration in respect of all sides and checking all the facets of the coins. Now let's see various factors. One is, now this you can mark it as important from exam point of view. They ask any one factor and they say please elaborate on it. So let's say nature of business activity. So then you will have to say that, for 1% company what is suggested, for private companies what is better, for public companies, for partnership firms, etc. So let's see how they have given for nature of business activity. Now, in small trading professions giving professional services, you will give an advice of sole proprietorship. और like let's say a lawyer comes to you, we'll say profession है आप single, आप sole proprietor में ही operate करो. Beauty parlors, repair shops, small retail stores, etc. Then OPC is a new concept which you can also suggest, which is a hybrid of sole proprietor and company forms of business. Then even second is your limited liability partnerships. Now limited liability partnership is second, which will come in later on. In your separate chapter is there on it. It comes under the Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. You can read it up. Then coming to the scale of business operation. If you want to go on large scale or small scale. In accordance with the provisions of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Act 2006, they have been classified as below. First is, you can see what is a micro enterprise, what is a small, micro, small and medium enterprise. So they have given you, depending on your capital investment in plant and machinery, you can be classified as small, micro, small and medium enterprise. The second factor is your scale, how big you want to go. Then comes capital requirements. Now this is a past year exam question also. Now they say capital is very important. If you want to raise more capital, then go for a company. So which requires heavy investments, heavy risk, then a company is suited. Especially listed companies go on for that. Then comes in sole proprietors. Okay, in sole proprietors then comes partnership firms. In sole proprietors, a owner may raise additional capital by borrowing, purchasing, credit, etc. and then finances business. Partnership firms can, you can ask your partners to get in the funds. Then comes managerial ability. It is difficult for a sole proprietor to have expertise in all functional areas. So as a sole proprietor, sole business owner, it's very difficult to be in all sales, marketing, legal, IT, business. All these are different functional areas of functional departments of the business. So getting knowledge, expertise over everything is very difficult, and therefore if you want to go on a larger scale, you should look for other structures. Then comes degree of control. Again, this is a past year exam question. So in sole proprietor, you have the maximum control. In partnership, it gets divided amongst your partners. In case of company, it's completely different. There is shareholders, there are directors. Whatever decision you need to do, you have to ask your shareholders. Then comes degree of risk and liability. The highest risk is in sole proprietors, partnership firms, since liability is unlimited. If you want to go in a less risky, you can go for companies or LLPs, where there is a lesser amount of risk. So smaller the size of business, smaller is the amount of risk. So when there is less risk, then you can suggest your informal business structure. Then come into your stability of business. A stability of business is basically a stable business is preferred by all owners. Now here you can mark it as important, where we are talking of something called as perpetual succession. Now see, if I have extended a loan to a sole proprietor and he dies, my entire money is lost. So I would look for stability. The financiers look for stability in the business. So today, Dhirubhai Ambani is not alive, but Reliance Industry is still alive. So therefore, a company is the most stable form of business enterprise. Then flexibility, if you want maximum flexibility, you have to go for informal business structures like sole proprietors, partnership firm. But if you set up a company, things cannot be decided overnight. You have to take approval of your shareholders and directors. Then comes division of profit. If you want to withhold all the profits, then you can go for sole proprietors. If you want to spread and share your profits among larger people, then you can go for company. The larger you share, the further you or the bigger you grow. Then comes the cost, procedures and government regulations. Company is most expensive, sole proprietors doesn't require any money, partnership firm. So the more formal structure you go in, the more expensive it gets, and the procedural or the legal complexities also increase. That is one of the reasons people don't like to set up companies, because companies have a lot of legal formalities to follow. Tax implications, you need to know the current tax laws to make your structure, decide on your structure. So this is going to come later on when you study your taxation or in other chapters as well. The geographical mobility, if you have located in one area only, a sole proprietor is suggested. But if you want to go across the world, a company is a better suited structure. Transferability of ownership. Now you tell me, what is easier to transfer your share? Let's say your share can be easily transferred in a partnership firm or in case of a company. Can you all tell me? Let's say A and B have set up a firm, okay, and set up a firm. B wants to sell his shares. You think it's going to be that easy to sell it to someone else? Answer is very difficult. In case of company, it's freely transferable. You just sell off and it can be sold off in the market, especially listed companies. Then comes managerial needs. If the business requires more managerial areas and it requires a lot of managers, then you have to go for a formal business structure. If you want to maintain secrecy, then obviously the sole proprietor offers the maximum amount of secrecy. Interdependence. The company is subject to strict government regulation. So if an entrepreneur wants to have freedom in business with little government interference, he has to go for either sole proprietor or partnership firm. Independence is lost when you go in companies because it gets affected with the changes in laws directly. Then comes conclusion. To conclude, all the factors given above are interdependent on each other and have to be collectively understood and cannot be understood in isolation. Second, this is not an exhaustive list which we have studied. There could be other factors also that affect the choice of a business organization. And thirdly, the business owner will have to weigh the advantages and disadvantages of the business structure he is choosing and then make her decision. Next, if we see, company as a choice of business organization for startups. So in our firm as well, we have done a lot of work for startups, and when we see startups look forward for funding. Now, to procure funding, what do you think? Which is a better form of business structure? Would they go for the informal business structures or formal business structures? What would startups choose? So ideally, the informal business structures, that is two, company and LLP, and the informal business structures is your partnership firm and is your sole proprietorship. Okay, and in company also you have private, you have public, and you have a one person company. Can you tell me from here which kind, first, whether a startup would choose an informal or a formal business structure? So a startup would not go for a firm or a sole proprietor, no funder or I could say financer will prefer funding in this sole proprietor. Sole proprietor not possible. You could only give a loan. There is no scope of equity in it. And secondly, the firm, in case of firm, the liability is unlimited. So no financer would want to make his also liability unlimited. So he will not want to become a partner. So this is not a ideal choice. Even when we come to company and LLP, sometimes this is the most common question that entrepreneurs ask us: should they form a company or should they form a LLP? Now the thing is, LLP, though it can receive, but it is not an ideal source. The most ideal form is a company. If you want private investment from certain people, then you will go for a private company. Public company, if you want to raise at public at large, you can go for a public company. And lastly, for OPC, there is again no scope. Because again, there is no scope of equity, since there is only one person company, only one member will be there. So let's see. Firstly, the features of all of them. So the best for private funding is private companies. Now let's see, features of a private company first. Fast growing businesses that require funding from venture capitalists, VCs, are those financiers who finance startups, need to register as a private company. So this is the most important and most ideal source. This is only because private company can make them shareholders. So private company, so we have made many investors shareholders also because they are funded into the company, and it is private companies in which they do, and offer a seat on the board of directorship also. The benefit for them is it is limited liability. So the financiers also know that their liability is only in the amount they have invested, and it cannot extend up to their personal assets. The startup cost is also very cheap to set up or very economical to set up private companies. Next is, it obviously, when you set up a company, one of the disadvantages is it is lot of legal formalities have to be maintained. You have to follow the Companies Act 2013, which is very stringent. The next is, there are a few tax advantages also, and it all depends on the industry in which you have entered. So some industries procure or obtain a greater degree of tax benefits, maybe some with respect to renewable energy, they receive much more advantages as compared to any manufacturing unit or a service company, etc. So it depends sectorial specific, the tax benefit. The next coming to limited liability partnership. Now, people who don't look for funding but want a formal business structure will ideally go for LLPs. LLP gives a very good combination of a partnership firm with a limited liability. So this is nothing but a partnership with limited liability. So this is a growing concept of those who want to have a startup, those who want to set up a partnership and just want to function without an investor. So though they can invest, but it's not an ideal source. A relatively cheaper approach to incorporate as compared to a private company with fewer compliances is a LLP. Now, if you want to go on a larger scale, the investor wants to see that what structure are you setting up. If you're setting up a company, means you have a bigger vision, you are ready to do all the compliances and you're all set. So it seems that you have a big mindset. But if you set up an LLP, it seems that you want to keep it small. So the startup cost is pretty less, and with a government fees of approximately 5,000 rupees, you can set it up. Second, for non-scalable businesses, LLPs will be for non-scalable businesses. If you are running a business that is unlikely to require equity funding, you may want to set up a LLP. It has a fewer compliances. LLPs, there is a separate chapter on LLPs also telling that what all compliances have to be done for LLPs. So one of the examples is like an audit needs to be performed only if your turnover is greater than 40 lakhs or paid up capital is more than 25 lakhs. Then the tax benefits are also given to the LLPs, which you will come to know when you study your taxation. One of the very important benefits of LLP is there is especially over partnership firms, is the number of partners. Here in LLP Act, there is no limit on the number of partners. So you can have unlimited number of partners in a LLP. So there is no upper limit to the number of partners that may be in a LLP. But in a firm, in a partnership firm, maximum how many partners can you have? Answer is 20. Now coming to partnership firm. Now partnership firm, we could say, is somewhere outdated. There is an upgradation from partnership firm which is called as an LLP. Because in partnership firm, liability is unlimited. Liability is unlimited. That means a loss caused in the business can even the losses can be recovered even by selling your personal assets. So this, even here they have said that it is going on for really small businesses, short ventures, etc. But the LLP has picked up because it's an advancement to the partnership firms. So a general partnership is where two or more individuals come together to manage the businesses. This structure has thought to have lost its relevance since the introduction of LLP. Because the partners here have unlimited liability, which they can also be personally liable for the debts of the business. Now the features of partnership firm: unlimited liability, it's super easy to start, just make a partnership deed and that is it, your partnership is formed. And obviously the registration of a partnership firm is not compulsory, it will all depend on from the state to state. And it is relatively less expensive. Next is a sole proprietor. Now sole proprietor, since there is only one member, there is no scope for a new member to come in. So this sole proprietorship is a business that is owned, controlled, managed, everything by a single person. It's very popular among unorganized sector, particularly small traders and merchants. Now features of sole proprietorship, we know that is unlimited liability. And it's super easy to start. Instead, you don't even need to register any place except for the normal licenses that you need to take, GST licenses, etc. Now coming to one-person company, which is the advancement over sole proprietorship. Because in sole proprietorship, the liability is unlimited. Here, the liability becomes limited. So here, what do you mean by a one-person company? Where there is only one person as member, only one person as a member. तो कोई दूसरा person आने का सवाल ही नहीं होता है, तो फंडिंग कोई देगा भी तो member नहीं बना सकता है. So this is again small proprietors जो कर रहे थे sole proprietors, they will now make one person company ताकि उनकी liability limited रहे, since it's a company. So it gives the promoters full control. Generally the person who is a shareholder will also become the director of the company. Now features of a one person company for solo entrepreneurs, one man show जिधर होता है, they will go for that. अब इसके अंदर ये एक बहुत important part है. One person company जो बनती है वो आगे भी other chapters में आएगा, but this you need to know from now and forever. That OPC जो setup होता है, can I have thousands of crores का company or business and still be a OPC? Because OPC get a lot of exemptions from compliances. We are saying नहीं, आप एक छोटे business हो, तो अगर आपका capital, that's called as paid up capital, or I could say turnover, is maximum, okay, is up to, let's say paid up capital is 50 lakhs and turnover is 2 crores. In these two cases, it is fine if it is up to 50 lakhs or turnover is 2 crores. But if at any point it increases, if it crosses, then we will tell कि भाई आप OPC से आपको compulsory convert करना पड़ेगा in a private or public company. So if I ask you any OPC, उसका turnover maximum कितना हो सकता है? 2 crores और capital कितना हो सकता है? Maximum 50 lakhs. इसके ऊपर चला गया ना अभी से, बस अभी और बेनिफिट्स नहीं मिलेंगे आपको, you have to convert yourself into private or public. So here also they have given over 2 crores, then it needs to be converted into a private company or even a public company. High compliance requirement. So as compared to one person company, you will as compared to sole proprietor, higher compliances, but as compared to private company and public companies, lesser compliances. So where there are no board meetings, you will be required to conduct a statutory audit, submit returns, comply with various other requirements of Companies Act. So you have to comply with Companies Act as well. The minimal tax advantages, and lastly startup cost. Again, the startup cost for all these companies is pretty less. Now, if you go to see one of the very important choices why people go for companies is because of the tax benefits. Now, if you notice, Amazon, the world's biggest company, I could say the world's richest man, Jeff Bezos, you know how much tax he pays? He pays zero tax. You can check it out. Netflix, such a big company, pays zero tax or minimal tax. McDonald's pays minimal tax. You have your so there are companies have that option under Companies Act, and they can use the Income Tax Act and various taxation laws to structure their transactions, structure their companies in such a way that they can reduce their tax burden. So this is one of the benefits of setting up a company where you can really pay less tax. So pays zero taxes. So see this. In 2017, Amazon paid zero tax. In 2018, they also tried to get a rebate, that is a kind of a refund, making a profit of 1.2 billion despite making a profit. So these are all the benefits that they do, and there are certain other companies also which pay zero tax. So companies that pay zero taxes. So the first one comes Amazon, because it's the biggest company and don't pay taxes, because and it is not illegal also. That's the interesting part. Fortune 500 companies avoid paying income tax. You pay the taxes, the salary person, you as a will pay taxes, but the big corporations did. And again, it's not illegal because they get that option of flexibility to structure transactions and organizations to get the benefits. So this all you will learn how we can, pay less tax within the purview of law. Then we are done with the chapter, but we'll just come to the exam question. Now you feel that this chapter is so simple, इसमें से क्या ही questions पूछेंगे, what all questions can be framed, but it's very important. Let's see. So if you see the exam questions, and I'm also going to show you how to write the situational questions, because in this chapter there will be a mix of direct and indirect, means situational questions. So here, this is the first situational question from this chapter. X is planning to start a mobile based and web based business. उसको एक web based business करना है. In selection of a suitable form of business with respect to degree of control and management plays an important significant role. Explain how the factors affect the choice of a business organization. Now this is a recent exam question. Explain this factor, how it affects the choice of a business organization. Degree of control and management. So let's see how they structure the answer. This is the model answers. So you will write that the degree of control and management that an entrepreneur desires to have over business affects the choice of his business organization. Degree of control तुमको कितना चाहिए will affect his the choice of business organization. In sole proprietor, everything is fused, all the control is fused with one person, and the entrepreneur has complete control over his business. So if you want to go for complete control, go for sole proprietor. In partnership, it is jointly shared. So you'll have to write the roles, responsibility, rights, etc. They will have the equal voices. Okay, unless they have in the partnership deed said that they want to operate differently. They are even legally accountable to each other. Means if I make a loss, then I'm liable to you and vice versa. So they are joint and several liabilities are there in partnership forms. In company, there is a divergence. Divergence means segregation, separation between the ownership. Ownership is with the shareholders and management is with the directors. So this, from our point of view, this becomes super important. Ownership is with shareholders and management is with the directors. Thus, a person wishing to start with complete control prefers a proprietary concern over partnership or company. If he is prepared to share it with others, he should choose for partnership. But if the activities are large, professional managers are required to handle the daily affairs, then the need of a corporate structure, he will prefer to set up a company as a business structure. So this is your model answer, how you should frame a 4-mark answer. Moving forward, the second situational question. B is a sole proprietor of BN Metals. The business of a company is to manufacture the parts of a boiler used in the Turkey power project. So again, this is a situational question, not a direct question. The previous year's turnover was 348 crores, but now he is participating in a big tender having cost estimates of 145 crores. 145 crores, 348 crores. However, as per the tender specification, B is qualified to submit for the tender. But in view of consultation provided by him, the form of the business should be a company or LLP. Explain the limitation of sole proprietor formation, etc. So now what are they saying? कि उसका turnover 348 crores है, तो उसको obviously अपना sole proprietor convert करना पड़ेगा into a company as we had seen, because that was an important part. Second, what a question have they directly asked? Explain the limitation of sole proprietor concern. So here they have given you the limitations: limited managerial skills, limited resources, unlimited liability, lack of continuity. So these are the heads that you can try to build your answer. The next question that they have asked, again, requirement of capital affects the choice of a suitable business organization. Now capital, again you'll have to write about capital, funding. Capital is one of the most crucial factors affecting the choice of a business organization. Okay, the scale. So then you'll have to write in sole proprietor, in partnership firm, what is there, and in case of a company. And that is it. We are done with the chapter.